Hey rockers, welcome to Mama-Ology Psychology,
where you get to peer into the minds of the owners of Mama Rocks Burgers.
We're bringing you into our world, where we talk all things business, lifestyle, and our psychology.
Hi rockers.
Hello.
Welcome to Mama-Ology Psychology episode 2. Today, we're going to be discussing a hot topic. Well, it's hot to every Uber driver I've ever driven in their cab.
Yep.
There's a real interest in our heritage and our background and what it means. It made us want to explore what does it actually mean to be African? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
The floor is open.
I mean, personally, I have obviously growing up in England and then moving to Kenya only 6 years ago. There's obviously kind of a thing where you have dual kind of a personality that's made up of different cultures. And it's about identity, what I identify with. Personally, growing up in England, of course, I feel English. A part of me feels English, but I remember growing up, everyone not treating me as an English person.
Well, I always felt like an other. I didn't feel English.
Yeah.
I didn't
No, 'cause
feel
people-
Nigerian enough or Kenyan enough or English enough. Yeah, sorry, you wanted to expand upon that. Sorry, I felt very passionate about that. So, but I think when people hear our accent, they make many assumptions based on the way that we speak.
They make the assumption that you're English.
Actually, I've had Nigerian. Believe it or not, Nigerian is number one.
Okay.
For some reason, it comes up. Are
you the Nigerian sisters?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
not
what happened
really.
to the Kenyan part? All right,
Yeah.
just to explain. Sorry, let's explain.
Yeah,
more
explain.
clearly. We both Natalie and I were born.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I'm
Phoenix.
sorry.
Phoenix.
Okay, so Natalie has recently.
Going through a rebirth.
Yeah.
And, she's gone through the ashes, and from the ashes, a phoenix rose.
Exactly. So I've gone through a name change, a very intentional one. So my name is now Phoenix, and that's how I like you to address me.
I like that.
In
I actually
short,
like that.
In
It
short,
goes,
short.
Fee for short.
Yeah,
Fifi.
But Phoenix. Yeah.
And it goes with the new red hair.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Let's not divert too much
Anyway,
off topic.
it's
But
okay,
anyway.
Trevor. That's how conversation goes.
She
It's
doesn't
natural.
like attention.
It's natural. Oh, but you're beautiful. Anyway,
Okay, continue.
I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about coming from your heritage.
Yeah.
So how people perceive you. And I was saying that when you speak, you very much have an English accent. And people make the assumption, actually, that I'm Nigerian, primarily. And I was like, based on what?
Yeah. I think we mentioned in a few interviews that we're partly Nigerian, partly Kenyan, because our father is Kenyan, our mother is Nigerian. But for some reason, people hold on to the Nigerian part. And I think people like exoticness, don't they? And because it's from some place other than Kenya, people hold on to the Nigerian part.
Moses, give us your take on that. Why do you think people latch us onto the Nigerian part rather than Kenyan?
Rather than the Kenyan part.
Yeah.
It's a very, speaking from a Kenyan point of view, it's a very Kenyan thing to appreciate the foreign more than you appreciate the local. You know, like even artists who've made it out of Kenya, when they were appreciated outside, is when Kenyans were like, Even look at the Lupita situation.
Was Lupita embraced? Genuinely. Lupita, really?
Yes.
She was praised by, in the West. By
No,
America.
But in Kenya?
No.
So when she got praised in America, that's when Kenyans latched onto it, unfortunately.
Because remember, like all the stories that are out there is when she was in Kenya as a struggling actor, she tried to do like radio interviews, TV interviews, and all those interviewers were like,
Really?
Yes.
They were interested?
Yeah, they were interested. And then the moment she was now recognized by the West, now they were all over her.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens for a lot of artists here as well.
It happens for everyone.
Yeah.
You understand? It just
But that's the narrative we want to change, and that's
Exactly.
why we intentionally
like
started
being
Mama Rocks
appreciative,
here.
being appreciative of your own.
Yeah.
Yes, appreciating your own,
Yeah.
appreciating yourself, and having that level of patriotism. But it's like patriotism has been beaten out of Kenyans.
Yeah.
Like they will say I'm Kenyan, they'll say, I will love Kenya, I love
Do
my
Kenyans
country.
I
really?
see that
No, do
though.
Kenyans really say I'm a Kenyan, or they say I'm Luo, or I'm Luya, or I'm Kikuyu?
No,
I think Kenyans identify with being
They
Kenyan.
identify,
Okay.
but then when it comes to Kenya versus foreign, they will always go for the foreign.
Yeah.
And that's
it's a narrative we
Yeah,
need to change.
yeah.
It's a narrative where we need to be like, because even for myself, I've been stopped by flying squad a lot of times, living in Kilimani. You understand? Whereby they assume I'm Nigerian and they're like, lunch. There's our lunch. Lunch is walking down the street. And then they stop me and then I respond in Swahili and they're like, man.
Okay, so what you're saying is there's an assumption there that Nigerians are wealthy.
Yes.
It's not the wealthiness. It's not the wealthiness as per se, but it's more of like, are you here legally? Because if you're not, there's like some 50K.
There's some money in it.
There's some 50K up for grabs.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if you're found in the country legally, it's like 50K fine, and then you are deported or something. So it's like a free lunch kind of thing. But then again, it goes to the thing of, do I not look Kenyan? Like, don't Kenyans look like this? Because
That's a tough one, because my opinion, everything we're saying in this podcast is an opinion, right? So I don't want anyone attacking me.
Yeah.
I think there's a definite connection between Luos and Nigerians.
For sure. I mean, historically, for sure.
Physically, I think there's a lot of resemblance there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe.
I've seen it. There are many Luos that I've met and I'm like, oh,
Even
you
the
look like my
names.
cousin.
The surnames are quite similar.
Yeah, the names are very... Well, I noticed a link
Ghanaian.
between Ghanaian names.
Yeah.
And I really want to explore that more. But yeah.
it's a fine situation. So when you guys talk about your father is Kenyan, your mother is Nigerian, the Kenyans will latch on to the Nigerian part
Because it's different.
Because it's foreign.
Yeah, it's exotic.
So it's exactly.
I think in every country, everyone wants a little bit of exoticness.
No, but isn't the African way to go by your father's nationality?
Exactly.
And our father's nationality he's Kenyan.
Kenyan,
so
yeah.
Be primarily Kenyan.
Yeah, but which part is the most exciting part for people? If you're living in a country, then it's exciting to be other. That's just how that's how it appears.
In Kenya.
Yeah.
Particularly.
No, I do believe that.
Yeah. Like I literally had so many debates. I'm telling Uber drivers, I am not from Nigeria. I am of Nigerian heritage. I'm of Kenyan heritage. But if I'm honest, I would consider myself a Londoner. I wouldn't even say from England, because I think being a Londoner is very distinctive.
It's very distinct from being from any other part of England.
But that's only something that an English person would do.
True.
Probably, yeah.
True. And I mean, we can explain that. We can explain that by, London is very diverse. You've got people from all over the world. I would say, I don't know the statistics, but people flock from all over the world. It's very multicultural,
So you have a lot of Black
cultural.
African people. People from the West Indies have been there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then I think it all molds into a culture where you have this kind of urban culture that you can regard yourself as Black British. Even just being Black British is a culture we not agree. Yeah.
But what's funny is, but I feel like being a Londoner is a culture in itself.
Yeah, it's very specific. Isn't
because there are people from
It's like being a New Yorker.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
There are people, I feel like, Black people, white people from London. I'm not saying this on mass scale, but like the majority, there's a Londonness, and actually it's very much attributed to Black culture. That London culture is very kind of it's very Black.
Could you say that there's a Nairobian culture or way of life?
Yes, there is. I would contribute to that, because Nairobi also we have a mixture of all the cultures in Kenya, and actually I might even add now in Africa, because Nairobi has all the Indians, the Chinese now. We have all the tribes are here.
English
now
should be another tribe.
There's a big English community, German community, Italian community,
Jewish
especially in
community.
the coast.
There's American communities scattered around. So I would also say Nairobi falls under that category.
What do you think they're seeing in Kenya to bring them here?
I feel like Kenya is that sophisticated African country. Kenya has the Western infrastructure in an African setting.
Yeah.
You understand? And Kenya is a gem that Kenyans haven't discovered, like we said in the first episode. And Westerners can see it because they've traveled. Even Africans, other Africans, because I see all these YouTube videos, travel YouTube videos of Nigerians,
Yeah, we've been
Ghanaians,
watching those a lot.
South Africans, whoever, and they come to Kenya and they're blown away. To them, how they talk about Kenya is like this developed African country. You understand?
But I think it's because they have a perception, and I really want to talk about this. They have a perception of Africa, like it's a country, firstly, and secondly, that
Which it will
we're
be.
underdeveloped. That we're underdeveloped, and so anything that shows development, they're kind of surprised by.
Exactly.
No, I agree with you.
Pleasantly
Because
surprised.
even when we were younger, growing up in UK, we had a perception of Africa.
Yeah.
And there
Before
was-
we came here.
Yeah, there was a certain fear, perpetuated also by my mother, saying about how you need to move if you're in Nigeria. Like, don't wear your chain outside of your cover your chain.
Yeah,
Hide this.
she created pockets in her underwear.
Yeah, to hide stuff.
To hide money, to hide money, because she was so scared. She was so
We're
scared
not
that people.
just gonna cruise by that.
Wait, no, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So my mother, every time she went to Nigeria, she'd prepare. There was a preparation process, and part of the preparation process was to stitch pockets into her underwear.
The funny thing
To hide money and any valuable possessions.
I've been around your mom. I can see this. I can see her doing these things. It's like
with military position.
Yeah. creating pockets in your underwear to hide stuff.
And
when
should
you
be
go to
like,
Nigeria.
if you hear someone call your name, don't answer.
Don't answer.
Just keep
It's
walking.
Jojo.
Just keep walking. So there was this whole fear around going.
No, and it was a real thing.
Yeah,
It
it was a
wasn't.
real thing.
It's not like the little fear that you have of going somewhere new. It was a real fear, and I wish she didn't do that.
No,
I
but okay. But it's also what we saw on TV, what the perception.
But
of
the
what Africa is
Western
like in the
media
West.
has
Yes.
always portrayed Africa
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
in the
a
negative
certain
manner.
negative light.
There's a
So-
huge perception of poverty. That's like the number one thing, and just the whole thing of aid, just being there to receive aid.
Yeah.
And we need to change that perception.
We need to change that completely because we need to come out of this victim where we are
Mentality.
victims and we need charity.
Yes.
No, but the only way we're going to do that is by telling our own story.
Yes.
And that's why what we want to do through Mama Rocks and other business ventures, and that's what I feel like we need to do moving forward, especially the young people, Nairobians, like, let's change the story. Let's tell our
Yeah.
own story. Let's not rely on the Beyoncés of the world
Yeah,
to create
yeah.
God is King.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, or to create, I don't know.
We just
a
need to get it
4x4.
out there.
We need to tell our own story.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to urge people to do. And that's
But I
the
think it's
reason
Because
why-
the Americans haven't got it right. Like, what's it called? What's that movie? The big movie that came out about Black Panther. Black
Yeah.
Panther. Black Panther was a great movie, but do you really feel like it
They consulted
represented
Africans?
No, yeah,
But was
they
it
might
meant
have
to?
consulted them, but
No, but
I
was
feel
it
like
meant-
it's
was
just
it
a
meant
yes
to?
and no though.
No, I don't think that was the purpose of Black Panther. I think it was a romanticism. I think it's
Yeah,
very
exactly, yeah.
futuristic. I don't think it's the Africa of today or even
I
representing.
get that.
Yeah.
But I feel like what was infused with that very much was they tried to infuse the culture of different African countries,
Yeah,
and
in a
that was really
futuristic way.
nice.
Yeah.
That was really nice. However, I feel like it needed more African involvement.
In what
Lupita
sense?
was there.
Huh?
Lupita was there. She was there.
In what sense?
I still
Because
feel like it was from an American perspective.
it was from American perspective, but it was positive.
Exactly.
I like
and you need
that.
to send these messages in doses. It can't be
Yeah.
like full on.
No, all I'm saying, listen, I'm not discrediting that film. I loved
Yeah.
it. What I'm saying is we need to speak for ourselves.
Exactly.
And we haven't done that yet on the world stage. We might have made some movies here and there within our own countries. I want to see more of our stuff getting out there, like the African
But that's what you're working.
perspective.
That's what
we're
we're
coming
working on.
That's
Yeah.
the
Because
point.
before that, it's a bit unfair to judge Africa on that scale because before that, funds were intentionally kept away from creatives' hands, intentionally through governments, through NGOs,
Yeah.
through all that intentionally.
Yeah.
We don't have Hollywood budgets.
Yeah.
You understand? So funds were how much did it cost to make
We-
Black Panther? Was it $200 million?
Yeah, we don't have Hollywood budgets. We have Hollywood money. There are people on this continent that have that kind of money.
But they're not investing it in the right way.
exactly.
Because the civic education hasn't been done. Because it's been made to be like in Africa for you to only make money as a businessman is through real estate. You understand?
And I feel like we need a few more kind of benevolent people out there who are doing things for the greater good of the people rather than for their own personal benefit and gains.
Actually, can I just stretch on that point? I feel like you could add to this if you disagree. As a child, and in my communities growing up, where we hang out with like people from Nigerian backgrounds, whatever, I can say, in terms from an African perspective, the arts are looked down upon. Like, artists, what for? How much money are you gonna make with a pen? Be a doctor, be a lawyer.
Education!
And the arts are so important. The arts guide so much, and I feel like that's what we need to focus on.
They guide imagination.
But the arts were demonized in Africa.
Thank you.
Arts were demonized from the word go in Africa, whereby you even find like the president of Uganda at 10 years back, he was saying in he's thinking of scrapping arts out of university. He was saying people who choose arts are lazy. For you to be smart, you need to choose anything, engineering.
Arts is about imagination.
But this is a mentality that has been infused on us since colonization.
Now listen, it's about imagination, it's about inspiration. I feel like that's more important than physics,
what I'm
maths,
saying. It's more important than
accountancy.
Things because we're talking about Hollywood, yeah? Hollywood is the biggest PR machine in the world, right?
Yeah.
What does that rely on? Creative arts, creative people.
Yeah.
So the creatives are the most important facet of our society.
And I'm telling you, Hollywood is the single most thing that has made America America.
Yeah.
Respected.
It's a PR
Not so
machine.
much now.
Hollywood
Not so much
is a
now.
PR, not
yes,
so much, but
exactly.
Hollywood was a PR machine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's an American PR machine. It's a PR machine.
It
And
was
that's
set
what-
up exactly
that's
for
what
that
arts are.
purpose.
That's what arts
That's
are.
what I'm saying.
Arts
Yeah.
are a PR machine for wherever you come from. So if you're rapping even your village, it's a PR machine for your village.
Yeah.
That's why these rappers keep saying Brooklyn in the house, Compton in the house.
Yeah.
East
whatever.
Coast, West Coast rap.
It's a PR.
Yeah.
Arts is a PR machine.
And that's what we
for your-
need in Africa.
Even
we need
Jamaicans
positive
Jamaica is
PR.
not the best country in the world.
Yeah.
But the Jamaican musicians have made us know about Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaica is
Oh, look
known
at
all
Nigerian
over.
musicians.
Nigerian musicians
Yeah.
now, and now it's even coming in. Even South African musicians, even
Yeah.
Diamond in Tanzania, just across the border, they've brought the West, the media. They also media like, we got our thing.
But I
And
think it's
our-
very much because they have established an identity, a very strong identity. So something that unifies them as a country. And I feel
sound, a
like we need to
collective
do that
sound.
more. Yeah. I mean, like you said, Diamond from Tanzania has done exactly that. We need to do exactly that for Kenya to be recognized.
That's the plan. Personally, that's my plan.
That's
But then when we have media outlets that praise mediocrity,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
When we have a whole industry that's doing things for likes, okay? You're pushing products for likes.
Yeah.
There's no authenticity anymore. And now there's a copy-paste kind of thing going on whereby...
That's a very Kenyan thing, isn't it?
What is the competitor doing? We're going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this thing is a big hit on TikTok.
Yeah.
All of us are going to do that
Instead
thing
of
on
being
TikTok.
original.
Instead of being original. So
Yeah.
you as a company, you guys have the money, yeah? You're taking your idea to a creative and then you're dictating to the creative what to do.
Exactly. Instead
Why
of letting
did
the
you-
creative create.
Yeah, let the creative create. You understand? So hence why Kenya has never had that feel of identity because the creatives are being dictated to what to do by bureaucrats.
By
office-
copying other countries, other people from other places.
Not even that. Office bureaucrats are dictating to creatives what to do.
Yeah.
So you take this thing to this creative person over here, but then you tell them exactly what to do from step by step.
Yeah.
So they're basically a prop. The creative ends up being a prop.
puppet.
They ends up being a puppet. And now, because the creative needs to survive, they
They're
will
gonna
do
do-
it.
yeah.
And then they will continue doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And hence why Kenya doesn't have an identity in the creative space. Because creatives are not left to be creatives. They're being dictated to. Whether you're a videographer, whether you're a musician, whether you're an actor, comedian, graphics guy, painter, whoever. Because even for painters, there's this cliche generic paintings. The ones that
basically
tourists.
One type of painting did well, so everyone has copied it. Yes, let's all do that. Let's all do that.
When you go to the coast, we have identical paintings.
Yeah.
All along the street.
Even when you go to the Maasai markets, everything is the
same
same.
thing. Every stall's the
It's a
same.
Yeah, so we need to change that.
But guys, can I just talk about perception, please? Because it really does frustrate me. Like when we first started, a lot of people were shocked and saying that, oh yeah, when they hear our voices, like, yeah, now I understand why Mama Rocks the way it is. Because you're not Kenyan.
We're foreign.
It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you uphold for your own country, your own nation, your own people? If you perceive that it's only good, it's only good because it's foreign influence. I have an issue with that.
You know what? Okay, a big thing for me, I feel like, I don't know, from my experience in Nairobi, I feel like a lot of people don't look beyond Kenya. There's a lot of people still not looking beyond Kenya. This is an international world now. With
global village.
We have the internet.
Since the internet, we are much closer. We can see what's happening.
It's extremely
in the next
short-sighted
country,
just to do one thing.
country 100,000 miles away. But so we need to be more like integrated to that. But I feel like in Kenya, we're a step behind. I feel like people are still just like, okay, oh, what can I sell here? In comparison to other Kenyans, what they're selling, what can I sell? We need to be looking globally.
So here's the thing, I will address that as a Kenyan, fully. It's two angles, two broad angles, there's the first angle of, as a creative, I need to eat. Okay. What does the industry players, the gatekeepers, want? I will speak from personal experience. When I did the yard, I was turned down by all the media outlets, and because they said it's too high quality for them. They said if they play this, then that quality is what will be expected from them from that point moving forward, and hence that's why they don't want to go with that route, because they prefer using cheap products, because for them they're in the industry of selling adverts. They're not in the industry of promoting creatives. I was told this to my face.
Well, then what we're lacking are visionaries, people who don't think short term, who have the interest of the country at heart.
Because you find like there's a story of one person took a risk in this company and brought something very creative and it flopped. Yeah. And now they got blamed from it by the department. That one example. And now no one is willing to be a risk taker in that department, one. And then, so secondly...
We take risks all the time. You have to. I'm sorry, that's part and parcel of being an entrepreneur.
But now, here's the thing, when addressing your question, when the perception, the thing of perception, whereby whenever people hear your accent, are like, now we understand. Yeah. Because of... Here's where perception comes in.
Yeah.
Because you guys were raised outside of Kenya. Yeah. You didn't grow up with the Kenyan mentality.
And how would you describe that mentality?
Copy-paste. When it comes to creativity, it's copy-paste.
But that's not creation.
No, listen. It didn't affect you guys. So when you guys came in, you came in with this idea, and your idea was like, this is our idea, this is what we want to do. That's how creatives think. If you guys would have been influenced by Kenyan mentality, by what's going on around here, it would be like you'd have heard of the naysayers and be like, yo, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Okay, but sorry, in defense of Kenyans, this naysaying thing is worldwide.
In Kenya is full blown.
Okay, Kenyans, I see the trait of copy paste. But the thing about naysayers is worldwide. Like, you always get pessimists wherever you go. When we started this business, when we had the idea, when we had just the idea and we shared it with people were like, are you sure you want to move to Kenya? Are you sure?
Is that a good idea?
Are you going to be able to find the beef that you need? Are there going to be enough people who buy your product? Can people afford what you're selling?
Yeah,
so many questions.
Kenyans eat beef more than any other country.
Exactly.
Nyama choma is like number one thing.
But obviously this was from people who didn't know anything about Kenya. But
exactly.
had that mentality that we were talking about.
They're using what Western media's put out there in the internet
to guide
judge
their thoughts.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand?
Exactly.
If I decided today to use what I've seen about even America, to judge America is a place I don't want to go.
Well, I think that's becoming more apparent now.
That's very.
But
recently.
in the past,
They use the whole
America,
word.
America have what's set aside America is that they have a powerful PR machine. The whole of Hollywood, the whole of everything
That's
is
okay. That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
okay. I'm just
So
saying that right now.
So I'm saying all of that went
Ever
into
since
it.
the Trump thing and the whole collapse of
But it
everything else.
But the Trump thing hasn't eradicated. Like it has set America back.
For me, it has.
In the
For
perception.
For
yes.
me, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
For me, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
For me, I don't want to go to America. Right
Obviously,
now,
Trump
for me,
and not just Trump.
I feel like I will be shot at the airport.
Yeah.
No,
Not just Trump. Everything that's been
Moses,
happening
I
there.
know you will be shot at the airport.
No, but everything that's been happening there.
I don't mean that
Obviously,
to joke about. That's not. I shouldn't joke about that. Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
no. I was just saying that. Obviously, everything that's been happening there with Black Lives Matter and like all of the negativity that's been happening there, it's obviously not a place that you want to be or anyone wants to be.
So imagine
Yeah.
if America had that bad PR for the last 60 years.
It'll be so
Exactly.
different.
For the last 60
Yeah.
years. That's what Africa has had.
Yeah.
Africa has had bad PR
But-
for
no,
even
but I
100
think-
But what
years.
I'm saying
think
is, right now, it's just a blip in the American. Sorry,
It's fine. Go on.
I'm sorry. It's because I hadn't got out what I was trying to say. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have to cut this bit out.
No, just continue. We can't cut out beats.
It's all right.
on a podcast. It's a podcast. It's supposed to be continuous. Just say what you need to say. You can't.
It's all right. It's
start
gone.
getting
It's gone a long time ago. It's all right. All right. Let's move on. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll just move on.
So going back to the topic of what does it mean to be African? I
Yes.
just wanted to bring this up. So we did a segment for Vice, Munchies, which is like a program all about food. And what we should never have done, is we looked at all of the comments on the YouTube feed.
It's only natural.
Just you can't help it, but I'm not doing it anymore. And there was one comment saying that we weren't pronouncing our surname correctly. And
That irritated
I was
me.
like, what? Because firstly,
It's the most unique surname.
no one else
Firstly-
has that name.
It's the
Firstly,
only.
what is our name?
Weddy Kelly. Our surname is Weddy Kelly.
Yeah. Personally, as a Kenyan, I've never heard of Mwede Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
But you pronounce it, as far as I'm concerned,
I
you pronounce
pronounce
it in
it.
the same way as we did.
Yeah, so that the irony is when you say that there's people telling you you're not pronouncing it well,
Yeah.
yet the first time they've had it is with you guys.
Exactly. It's not like a Smith or Jones.
So it
like,
just
there's
feels
no
like
other-
someone is sitting somewhere and is like, I need to talk shit.
this is where I'm gonna
This was
do
a
it.
beautiful interview. I've just seen this beautiful video
I want
on
to
YouTube,
ruin it.
and I need to add some negativity to it. There's too much positivity going on. Okay, I need to sprinkle some negativity. It doesn't make sense to me why someone will correct your name, yet it's the first time they've had it.
And I feel a bit dogged by that. I'm sorry, but I felt personally insulted because, all right, there might be a correct way of pronouncing Roddy Kelly. I'm sorry.
Which we don't know. Which we don't know.
Because no one knows. Because no one else has said it.
No
Because
one
we're the
else
only
has
Roddy
that
Kellys
name.
in
Yeah.
this country.
No,
anyway,
not just this country, the world. Google it.
Yes, the world.
The world, yeah.
But yeah, so for someone to correct us on how to say it, it was a bit insulting, and it made me feel not good.
I think they're trying to dig at the fact they're trying to dig and say
Say
that
we're not Kenyan.
we're not African
You're
enough.
pronouncing. You're
Well, I'm
twanging.
sorry,
You're twanging
listen.
your name.
Listen, I'm sorry. No one can tell me that I'm not African. I'm African. Yes, I was born in the UK, but my heritage is African. I am black. Every moment that I was in the UK, if I would introduce myself, people would ask me,
Where are you from?
Yes, I'm black. That made me different from everyone else in the UK. There's a lot of black UK people, but for some reason, till this day,
You're not
people still
English?
ask
Not
where
English.
you're from.
Yeah.
That makes you feel not from that place.
So do you feel displaced the fact that, say we went to Nigeria, they're like Oyumbo, which means that's Yoruba for
Basically
white
saying,
person.
yeah, that you're not from Nigeria.
In Kenya, it's like, where is your father from? So
Yeah.
you're not identifying, they're not identifying you with being Kenyan. In
Yeah.
UK, it's where are you from? So do you
Yeah.
feel like slightly displaced?
where do you belong?
Where do you belong?
I just feel like I belong where I kind of feel a freedom with that. I actually see it as a positive thing that no one's able to label me.
No, but how do you label yourself?
I think I kind of see myself as an international, but at the same time, my heart is African. I don't even see myself as Kenyan. It's an African thing. It's like an African spirit that I have. And like the whole purpose of even starting this, this whole Mama Rocks thing was to shout out about Africa and how amazing it is and how beautiful it is and how much the rest of the world needs to pay attention.
So that's what I'm saying. For us, it's not a business. It was a calling.
Yes.
I feel like it was a calling.
Yes.
Yeah. So Moses, when you first met Samantha, I mean, what was your perception? Like, how did you see her in reflection of, if you're kind of reflecting upon what she said just now, what were your thoughts?
Someone I want to sleep with.
Ah,
Sorry, that was like an instinctive slap.
To be honest, maybe this is my me being me, but I never had that. I've never been influenced by what's going on in Kenya. I've always been
but everyone has an initial perception, and you kind of put people in boxes. So,
I to be honest, because I met you guys at the same time. Yeah, to be honest, my perception was from how you guys were introduced to me. It was like you guys are girls who've been raised in the UK, and you're half Nigerian, half Kenyan, and that's where I picked it up from. You understand?
Are you sure you're not putting icing on this? You're not trying to.
Not really, because I'm really trying to remember.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to remember my first impression, and that's what was in my mind right that I just took it from that point on, and then I just rolled with it.
Yeah.
And then whatever comes after in terms of perception. Like whatever any other perception I will get will be from what you guys give me in terms of what I see you guys doing and how I see you guys acting.
Yeah.
And then it will be like, that's a typical Nigerian thing, or that's a typical UK thing, or that's a typical Kenyan thing. But from the onset, it was like, hey, this is Samantha, this is Natalie, and they are Nigerian and Kenyan. But then I must say the Nigerian came first.
Really?
And why is that?
No. I'm not saying for me. From
the
how
introduction.
So I remember even asking you, if your dad is Kenyan, therefore it means you're actually Kenyan first, then Nigerian second.
But obviously I challenge that perception because I don't believe in that.
No, I'm saying
For
culturally.
me personally,
I'm talking about culturally.
Yeah. But me personally, I don't believe. Why should the husband's nationality dictate the child's nationality?
No, but we're just saying that's just a rite of passage. That's
That's
just how it goes.
That's a whole
It's not
different
about
topic.
right or
How it has
wrong.
been.
That's
That's
how
a
it
whole
has been.
different
Yeah,
topic
like,
you're
it's
creating.
something totally different.
Yeah, it's a whole which we can jump on because it's still a part of African heritage.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. So I remember even asking you. So how come you guys refer to yourselves as a Nigerian? And then you told me it's not you guys.
Yeah, it's everyone else.
Everyone else. I've never said
I've never
I am
introduced
Nigerian.
myself as Nigerian.
Never.
In a million
Which
years.
is still okay for me.
It's
I really don't see the
complicated.
big deal. And for me, it was still okay because like I was okay with you guys, even that perception, the Nigerian perception, because once I got to know you guys more, I could see that even if you grew up in the UK, the Nigerian side was more prominent because there's your mother was there, your cousins, everyone.
Listen,
the
we were
Kenyan
definitely
side wasn't there.
Yeah, it's true.
No,
So
we were definitely more influenced by the
by
Nigerian,
the Nigerian side. So
Yes.
if there was an African influence while you guys were growing up
it's more
in
the
London, in the
Nigerian
UK,
side.
it was more Nigerian.
Yeah.
So I was like, you understand? Like for me, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal whether you guys are this or that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big because
And it shouldn't be.
And it shouldn't be.
We are who we are. We're people.
But that's why
first most.
whenever an Uber driver asks me, I know I probably come across really rude. I'm just like,
Yeah,
because it's a
it
hard
happens
question.
every day.
It's a hard question to answer as well.
One thing
Where
you
are
guys
you
need to
from?
understand is most of these people, they're asking out of curiosity.
Yeah, I know. It's not. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
nothing.
So now I just have fun with it. I just say, I just go along with whatever they say.
She makes up things she's so funny. She makes up things to Uber drivers. Like she
Yeah.
makes up crazy stories, and it's actually really hilarious.
Because the question is, are you married? So I'm married to a Masi man, and I go to Oli Tok whatever. I just say whatever because I get bored. So I thought instead of getting angry, let me just have fun with it.
because it happens every day.
yeah.
Every day.
Okay, so according to Uber drivers, I go to ISK and I'm married to some tycoon who lives in Turkana.
I've been
oil
to Ghana.
tycoon.
There's a few tycoons there
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, you can't really think of it. But it's ridiculous. Yeah, but now when we go back to the idea of who said you should take up the heritage of the father, and I don't know. It's upon you and it's upon your family. It's upon how you grew up, because there's people who I know who have even refused to take up their husband's surname, and they're like, no, you take my surname.
Yeah.
Who said I should take yours?
But in this grand scheme of things, why does it matter?
Yeah, why do we put
We're
so
all
much
humans.
Why do we put so much
We're all
value
humans.
behind nationality?
What does it mean? Even being Kenyan, what does that mean? Like being Kenyan, it's then broken up into different
Tribes, yeah.
tribes.
But even when you drill down and say, okay, fine, it's tribal thing, it comes down to customs, maybe dress,
Perception.
Food, like ritualistic stuff. But those are just things.
Yeah.
But as a human being, like, what does it mean?
I feel
do you think it's important?
It's the people. Being African heritage is more of the people.
What does that mean, though, Moses?
There's a culture that every locality has.
Culture.
Yeah.
But based on what? Customs and what you eat, right?
No. Forget about the traditional customs. Yeah. Talk about the even here in Nairobi. There's a Nairobi culture.
Yeah.
There's a Kitale culture. There's a Eldoret culture. There's a Nakuru culture.
Yeah.
There's a coastal Mombasa culture. You understand? And I feel like that is what makes. And that culture is brought by the people, how they interact with each other. Because you find we've moved away from the typical traditional African heritage, and we're now just living our lives. But then in the process of living our lives, we have formed a culture that is 2021. There's a 2021 African culture.
But
that
don't you
is
feel
not
that's
a
a very
1970.
city? But don't you think that's very city mentality? What you
Not
just
really,
said?
because there's rural places where they also have their culture, and it's not the typical traditional. They're simply behind the city because the city is more developed. But the mentality, because like I grew up in Eldoret. Like I was born in Nairobi, and then at age 8 we moved to Eldoret. Eldoret, if you ask
1988.
80.
1988.
No.
1980. How old are you?
I said when I was 8.
Oh, when you were 8.
When
okay.
he
When I was
8.
8.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I thought you said it in 1988. I was like, okay.
And I look young, but but when I was 8 years old, we moved to Eldoret. And then I grew up in Eldoret up to high school, finished high school, after high school, and then when college came, and then that's when I came back to Nairobi. But now, growing up in Eldoret, I remember bumping into my Nairobi cousins, and they would just assume Eldoret is a village or is a rural area. Yet I still had my Nairobi mentality, if I could call it that, or the urban mentality. I still listen to the same radio stations they were listening to when they're in Nairobi. I still listen to the same musicians, watch the same movies. I wasn't behind anything. If I bumped,
What was it like moving to Eldoret? Were Eldoret people like you, or was it
Yes.
different? Yeah.
Yes, they were like me, like the schools and everywhere. I went.
Eldoret isn't really village though, is it?
Exactly,
It's
but that's the
still a city.
perception.
Yeah.
People,
So it's all about perception.
it's all about perception. So what you call a village, other people call like, yo, that's town.
But look, okay, this is getting really personal now. But even in us meeting each other and getting to know each other, it's funny how we're born in completely separate parts of the world, but our references are exactly the same. And we're like, when it comes to
Again, it
the
proves the
movies
point.
we watched, the series we watched when we were growing up,
music.
the music that we listened to, it was actually all the same.
We have the same
We
reference
identified
points.
with each
That's
other.
my point.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. What does it mean to
Yeah.
be African
Yeah.
and not just a human being?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It boils down to the people, because when it comes to reference points, like you just pointed out, we have the same reference points. Yet you guys grew up in London.
Yeah.
I grew up in Eldoret.
Yeah.
Yet we come together. We love the same music, love the same, we love the same, love the same this.
And that's only getting closer now with the internet, and it's only getting more and more like that.
Exactly. So what boils down to culture is now it's like the internet is eradicating music or whatever.
But is that a
It's
good
now
thing
boils
or
down
a
to
bad
the
thing?
And
people.
it's setting things up. I
Yeah.
mean, it's closing the world in. And
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because is that eroding away at
No,
what it
it's not.
means to be an African?
It's not
to be
eroding.
different from each other.
It's not eroding. I will explain. Yeah. For me, I feel like this. It's only eroding if you forget your culture and you start to become what you're seeing on the internet.
Yeah.
Because you're pretending to be that thing.
Sorry,
It doesn't come natural to
I'm
you.
going to cut you off because what you said is really important, right? No names. I know someone who was born and bred in Kenya, specifically Nairobi, who has an American accent. And I said, oh, so you
That
went
happens
to-
a lot.
I said, you went to international school? No.
Yeah.
So you spent time in America?
You're trying to explain it.
No. I just watch TV. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Do you speak Swahili? A bit.
Yeah.
So
For me, that's scary.
that's being fake. That's simply being fake.
Or no, maybe not fake.
Let's call a spade a
That might
spade.
just been that
That
person's
is being
experience,
fake.
though.
That is solo. That is being fake. That is being fake.
Is it?
That is being fake.
You think it's
That is
fake?
that is being fake. Solo is a videographer for anyone who's wondering. That is being fake. The reason why that is being fake is the same as you guys grew up in the UK.
Yeah.
And you grew up with this whatever schools you guys went to, there was this chicks who used to put on this Barbie accent. So like, yeah.
Okay, it's complete your imagination, but go on, yeah. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. But the thing, Mom, what I'm saying is, you could tell that's not how they talk.
Yeah.
When they're in their house, when they're in the house with their brother who's bullying them, okay, with their older bro.
Are they saying that?
Are they really talking like that? So it's a fakeness that's worldwide. So when it comes to Kenya, you find people who are putting on accents that don't come natural. If it comes natural to you, that's a different thing. It's a whole different thing. If you're putting it on, if I find you with your people, okay, and you're not talking like that, it's fake.
No, but do you not think we're having double standards here? Because we just spoke about the internet, how things becoming more global, and how people are more influenced by worldly things.
Yeah.
So today, parents are more busy working, whatever. Children are being raised by TV.
Yeah.
So it's not, and if I'm watching Nickelodeon from morning until night, it's not a wild assumption for me to have an American
And to be honest,
accent.
I have a friend who's from Hong Kong. I know this is really distant from here, but she's from Hong Kong, but she grew up on American TV, and her accent is totally American. So how do you explain that?
No, but she went to international school, so that's a bit different.
All right, that's a bit different.
Exactly. So here's the thing, yeah. If this is how you naturally talk, it's okay. Okay. If that is not how you naturally talk, okay. If you have two accents, right? If you have two accents in your
home
back,
and away accent.
Are you talking about guys from Lagos, Lagos? Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not go into that. But I'm just saying, so now to talk about the double standard thing that you just brought up. Here's the thing: the internet has made the world a global village. By that is, I know what's happening in any part of the world as it happens. That doesn't mean I start picking up
Isms
an Indian accent. You understand? Why am I not picking up? There's this chick. I wish I would remember her name because I would blast her. There's this chick. She went to China for 2 weeks, came back with an American accent.
Yeah, I don't understand.
You understand?
Yeah.
Just because she flew out of Kenya, she now qualifies to have an accent. You understand? So I'm just here talking to her in my typical Kenyan Swahili, niaje msupa. And for her, she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I forgot.
You are here 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not 2 years?
Nah, it was 2 weeks.
Okay.
It was 2. I counted. So for me, the internet is making the world a global village. But then what that means is exposing all the cultures to the global platform, because the global platform was only infiltrated by American and European content. African content, Indian content, Chinese content was like filtered. Yeah. Internet is removing the filters. Yeah. So now by making the world a global village, it means Americans can watch Africans can watch Americans, and all the way to Europe, whatever. That's what it means by making it a global village. And it's okay to be influenced in terms of dressing, lifestyle, all that stuff. But then it needs to come natural to you. For example, how we are dressing can be said to be American.
Where's your sugar?
Huh?
Where's your sugar?
My sugar. Exactly. That's a stereotype, though. That's a stereotype.
Yeah. But that's the stereotype that is put out there, to be honest. Anything that comes from Kenya is Masai. That's it. And Masai is not even the majority. But it's the most... And then, it's the deepest... Right, maybe it's the deepest...
We have Masais in Tanzania
I'm
and
just
Uganda.
putting it out there. Is it the deepest culture? Because that's the culture that's being put out there. The most different to everywhere else in the world.
The reason for that is because of the political situation since independence. all the other tribes are politically affiliated.
Yes.
So the Masais have always been seen as a neutral tribe.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's what all the political people feel like, we can push this one because no one can claim ownership to it. It's all politics. The Masai thing is a political thing.
But don't you feel like it's also because the Masai people that we see out there are still kind of practicing their cultures, whereas I feel
because
like
they've been encouraged to.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of the other cultures are not as visible and not as it's not like it's practiced.
No, they practice it. It's just not visible.
It's not visible. Why is it not visible?
Because political affiliation.
Yeah.
So I'm a Luo. I can decide to take a whole camera crew to Kisumu and South Nyanza. I can film all the traditions we have that my people are practicing. And then I can bring it to the Kenyan government and be like, yo, push this as well. It's part of the Kenyan culture. But then they'll be like, yeah, political affiliation. If we do this, then they come back, then they accuse, and then it's going to be like, oh, everyone needs to be represented, and then it's too much content.
Okay,
sorry.
Go on.
No, I was just going to point out quickly, but it's funny how we look back at cultures and that have existed in the past, and we wonder how they died out. But this is a pure example of what's happening today, of how cultures die out.
Can I just say something? Because it is a bit of a dangerous ground.
Yeah.
I feel like the differences in the culture should be embraced and celebrated, but it's been used divisively historically, and that's why it's so sensitive.
But it's also about how it was created in the first place. Like, right, we have this diversity because Kenya was a manufactured place. Kenya, as a country, was basically different tribes being pushed together. They weren't together.
What do you mean they aren't together?
Okay. Kenya as a country, who created that?
A colonialist.
Exactly. Before the colonialists came, was Kenya
I suppose the
as
question
a
is,
country
okay, so you're saying with the different tribes living harmoniously side by side one another,
or were they living separately and then someone came and said, okay, all you tribes need to get together. What happened?
It's kind of yes and no. So yes, the colonialists, East Africa, the whole of East Africa was one country before colonialists. Okay, East and Central Africa was like one country. There was like I think five countries in Africa, and it was in the region. So West Africa, the whole of West Africa was a country. North Africa was a country. Southern Africa was a country. East and Central Africa was one country. And so Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Congo, we were all like linked. That's why all those countries speak Swahili. It's different Swahili, but it's all Swahili. Or should I say Kiswahili, because Swahili is English version of Swahili. So all those countries speak Kiswahili, while speaking Kiswahili. Now, when the colonialists came and they discovered that Belgium, Spain, Italy, UK, they're all fighting over Africa. And so they called for the Berlin Conference. 1834. They called for the Berlin Conference. And they're like, wait a minute. We're killing ourselves for Africans. Okay? Let us divide it up depending on territories. Okay? So they divided Africa up depending on UK territory, Spanish, Belgium, German, all that stuff. They divided it up in territories. And now you find that UK is in Kenya and then it's not in, Uganda.
Yeah.
So they will divide it up. Okay, so this is my part. I'm going to call it Kenya.
Yeah.
But then they're going to come up with a whole narrative that they've made up. We're like, okay, we need to come up with a narrative that will make sense for the Kenyans, that will make them believe they are the ones who came up with this name. They are the ones who came up with this geographical region. Yeah. They'll create a whole narrative behind it. Now, in terms of the tribes and whatever, the tribes were separate, but we were working in harmony. This tribe was known for that thing. This tribe was known for this thing. So if you want this thing, go for that. Go to that tribe, sort it out. If you want, you understand. When the colonialists came, the Ubuntu spirit that you're talking about, the Umoja spirit, which was the unity.
Which I think we should go back to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we never brought up in the first
place. Yeah, explain the Umoja. All right, before we go ahead.
Okay, so Ubuntu, I became very hypnotized by that word.
Yeah.
It has Bantu roots and it's more commonly used in Southern Africa. And it means, for example, I cannot exist without you. So it's about unity and synergy and working together and seeing yourself in the other person,
Yeah.
right? So I think there was a connection for me anyway between the two terms, Ubuntu and Umoja. Yeah.
So Umoja is Swahili version of Ubuntu. And the reason why Ubuntu was all across Africa is because we were raised by the village.
Yeah.
Guys who are like my generation going back would tell you that if you did something wrong in the street, it wasn't your mother who'd come to scold you. It would be the nearest grown-up.
Yeah.
They would come scold you and then take you to your mother, and then your mother would scold you some more. Unlike today, you can't touch someone's kid in a disciplinary manner, not any other way. In a disciplinary manner, or any other way, actually, for that matter, you can't mess with people's kids.
Yeah.
Even if you see them burning a building, you just have to walk away, call the police. You understand? Yes, sir. But now, with that, there was unity, even though we had tribes.
Yeah.
Because we have to understand how tribes came about. Tribes came about because of geographical locations. So we had, in the beginning of the world, we had one tribe. And then people moved away. And then after years, that tribe changed. And then in that part, whatever.
And tribe was family, right?
Exactly. It is more like a family. It is like the Luya, when you trace back to one family. The Kikuyus traces back to one family. Luos, one family. Kambas, Masais, everyone. And so there wasn't beef. There was no beef. There would be small misunderstandings, or like kettle rustling, whatever. But it was misunderstandings, not beef all out. It was up to the colonialists to divide and conquer. Colonialists created tribalism. You understand?
In the sense we know it today.
In the sense we know it today.
Yeah.
Colonialists created tribalism because they had to divide and conquer because we were too strong together and we would outnumber them. So what would they do? They would pick this tribe and favor them.
Yeah.
Give them everything.
And give them power.
And then make the others jealous.
Yeah.
So pitting people against each other.
Exactly. And that was what has happened up to today. That's why we have tribalism. Tribalism is an outcome
Because
of
if you
colonialism.
divide us as a people,
then you can conquer the
exactly, because you
the
don't
land.
realize your strength and power. And one people feels that they're superior over another people, and then it completely get divided, and then you don't realize that you have strength in numbers. That's the purpose of it.
So what do you think the future is?
The future's bright.
The future is orange.
The future is amazing for Africa. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The future is Africa.
For real though.
Yeah. But I'm saying that we have to get back to those core values of Ubuntu.
It's
We
happening.
need to
It's
realize.
happening slowly.
We need to realize who we are as a people,
Wake
as
up
Africans.
to the reality of
Wake up to it.
and value ourselves and identify what those values are.
Definitely. Wake up to who we are, who we used to be, because I think many people are not aware of who we are as Africans.
Who they are even.
Who they are and who they
we are.
were.
Yeah, because
Who we were
in
as
order to know who
Africans.
you are, you need to know who you were, and that's why history is so important.
Exactly. It's
and it
so
goes
important.
back to what Moses was saying before about his beloved friend who went to China for 2 weeks came back from American accent. Is we need to have pride in where we come from.
Yes.
Because if she had pride in
You
where she
wouldn't
came
allow
from,
another
she wouldn't be infiltrated
culture.
like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I mean, if I lived in New York for 10 years, of course I'm going to pick up an
Of course.
accent. But it is unrealistic and it's a bit of a long shot to think, why don't you come back
She
with a Chinese
wanted it.
accent? Or speaking Mandarin.
That was
because
my
she
question.
wanted it. Because she wanted anything but a Kenyan accent. Because it's just better for, like, it's just
Western
more
was better.
appealing.
Yeah, it's like Western is better.
Yeah, to show
And-
that you're from somewhere else is
Okay,
better.
can I just have like a disclaimer? There's nothing wrong with being Western. We're not saying that. We're saying that you need to
Be
have pride
you.
in where you are from, just like
Yes.
anywhere else. So
Just be yourself.
yeah,
man.
just be yourself.
Just
And
you.
not be ashamed of it and not value someone
Exactly.
else's.
And if I can just
Custom
throw this
over your
out
own.
there, those Western people prefer you as yourself.
Yeah, just be authentic.
Because they can tell when you're putting on an
Yeah.
accent and you are the biggest fool in the room.
Yeah.
When you're talking to a room full of Western people and you're putting on an accent,
American.
you are the biggest fool in the room.
just be you.
They are laughing at you. And that's why
Not
things
just
are...
them, everyone.
No.
Me included.
Yeah. And that's why that business deal you took to them did not go through.
You were not
Because
you.
you
You were not
represented
you.
fakeness.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's not being authentic or
Yeah.
she's not being authentic. I don't trust them with my money.